All right, I'd like to call to order the Lower Suffolk Township Board of Supervisors meeting of December 6, 2023, and ask everyone to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of one nation. Thank you. Which brings us to our first public discussion period of the evening. We have two, one at the beginning and one at the end of the meeting. Does anyone wish to be recognized? All right, seeing no one, we'll move on to item 3, the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items listed on the agenda?
So moved.
I'll second. Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Committee reports, zoning hearing board, Mr. Buki.
There are no applications.
No ZHP. Holly, the park board.
The Historical Society is having their annual carol sing this Friday at 7 o'clock at the Heifer Plains Farmstead at 237 Landis Road. And they're already all decorated for Christmas out there, so it's usually a pretty good time. And our next meeting will not be until January 23rd at 7 p.m.
Which reminds me to announce the upcoming meetings for all the various committees of the township at the bottom of the agenda. Public is welcome to attend. Moving along, Fire Chief Mr. Nace.
Good evening. Members calls, we had 29, we had 20 today, 9 at night, 9 firearms, 6 EMS assists, 3 house fires, 2 building fires, 2 gas leaks, fire special service, a vehicle fire, a brush fire, and an accident. 22 were in Lower Salford, 2 in Commenton, 2 in Upper Salford, 1 in Franconia and Skippack. We provided mutual aid 7, received at 7. We had a total response of 268 personnel. We averaged 9.2 per call, and we were in service for 11 hours, 32 minutes, and 12 seconds. Tonight I have my 2 assistant chiefs for next year, Dr. Wanko and Jesse Mancini. So you're stuck with me again for next year as fire chief. So these guys are going to be attending some of the meetings for me. Other than that, not much different. The 16th, I guess next Saturday is our Santa run. So our usual fun activity festival that day. So we're looking forward to it. Our new squad 89 that should be hopefully going in service next week. We've been busy training on it and getting our tools and stuff managed. So it's exciting news for us, but pretty much all we got.
Excellent.
Thank you, gentlemen. Congratulations, hopefully, and thank you for willing to step up to an even greater level of service than you already were providing. So, yeah, thank you. Hi, Joe.
The next up would be the Freedom Valley Medical Rescue. I don't know if they submitted a report.
We have not received one yet.
Once we do, we'll post it so folks can view it should they like. Communications Committee, Kevin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Currently, the Communications Committee is exploring the idea of welcome packets that we could provide for new residents. We're researching how we could do that. We're going to report back to the board with our findings on that. And we are also encouraging people to sign up for text alerts. You can also do non-emergency text alerts on Ready Month Go, where you'll get notified of our meetings and any other events that the township has. Other than that, our next meeting is in here, as you indicated, on December 20th at 7:30 p.m. And you can join via Zoom as well.
Terrific. Just don't hijack the Zoom. Recreational Authority, we did not meet for the month of November. We will be meeting December 14th coming up. We've had a very good year. The golf course has had a great year. And really we're hopeful and optimistic the same for 2024. This is all I will say. All right, unfinished business. Resolution 2023-31 enacting the tax rates / assessments for the 2024 calendar year. Any questions or comments?
I think these have been talked about and
Ready to roll?
I would make a motion to approve resolution 2023-31 enacting the tax rates and assessments for 2024 calendar year as listed.
I will second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those say nay. Motion carries. Resolution 2023-32 adopting the year 2024 budget documents as posted.
They've been posted, advertised, discussed in great length, and I would make a motion to approve the 2024 budget as presented.
Oh, second.
Moved in second, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, to add to it, Mr. Canvan said we do encourage people to look at our meetings on YouTube. We did have a great discussion. Appreciate the discussion.
Excellent. All true, all true. Finally, resolution 2023-33, providing for supplemental appropriations for 2023 budget by way of the Freedom Valley Medical Rescue. This is to expend $250,000 in appropriations to assist that group through the end of the year.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion to approve resolution 2023-33, noting further that while this was expended out of our general fund, this will be listed as a debt owed to the township from Freedom Valley Medical that will be paid back at some point in the future.
Moved in second, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. On to new business. First up, we have 785 Pressman Road, a 3-lot subdivision, discussion of waivers. Mr. Matz. Good to see you.
Good evening.
How are you? Good.
Saw the plan on the board a few minutes ago.
Came and went.
It came to that. There's 4 waivers, 785 Cressman Road. Is the address of the property, and it's Mark Tuttle is the owner, and Mark's lived on the property for 40 years plus. The residence is up by the road, and we're proposing 2 flag lots in the rear of the parcel. Both flag lots exceed all the zoning requirements. There are 4 waivers associated with the project. The first is with regard to tree replacement. We're not asking for a waiver of tree replacement, just the manner that it's calculated. The whole rear of the site is wooded. We are asking for a waiver from locating all of those trees individually. I think it's the next plan or somewhere in the set. I did a area calculation, even with these conceptual houses, which are very large, and stormwater management to show that these could be developed in a reasonable manner. We're about half of the actual tree replacement quantity before you'd actually have to start replacing trees.
Just to be clear on that, we have an allowance of up to 25% disturbance before you have to replace when you're saying you're half of that 25%.
Based on area,
your
yeah.
area.
And there is a note on the plan that would require the developer or builder of either of these lots to quantify that as well for the township engineer to approve during a building permit process. What's different about these compared to a regular development is that these lots are large enough. They're not going to be sold to a builder necessarily. They'll probably be a custom home. So I don't know exactly where the house is going to be. Some things may change from this plan, and that'll have to be evaluated during the building permit process.
So this is just the, you're just showing land, subdividing the property now from the land, or?
So yes, we will have to, or the ultimate builder will have to submit a building permit plan, document stormwater management, erosion sedimentation control, this tree replacement to make sure that it's either what we're saying it is or still compliant with the ordinance.
Michelle, would you agree that they are well deficient of that 25% at this point?
At this point, but I like the idea that they're going to quantify those trees at the time of building permit. Because if it's not till 10 years later, those trees could grow, but
Is that evenly distributed between the 2 lots that are being created? Meaning is one more treed than the other, so if. Or is it, because once it's subdivided, then you have 2 different owners that are dealing with restrictions, so. Does it have to be lot specific or is it project specific? Do you follow my question?
be a lot specific.
Okay, so that's what I prefer, that there be a calculation per lot and that whatever you're at, if you're at.
They're not radically different.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, the general tree massing is consistent across both, so if you're at 12%, 12.5% disturbance. you're generally at 12.5% disturbance on both
Right.
lots.
Not exactly.
If you said it about half, I'm just giving you a number, okay?
Right here.
I know you are.
I can't tell if that's a compliment or.
All three of you. Yeah, so, but I think that it does need to have that protection on a per lot basis.
About 3.5 acre lot, right? One's a little bigger.
Yeah, but what I was more concerned about is if one was 100% wooded
Oh, yeah.
and the other was 0% wooded, that's a different calculation.
And you know, it is feasible that an owner may want to move the house all the way to the back and then they may have tree replacement. We'll have to document that at that time. We're not asking for that. Second is a deferral from road improvements. If you're familiar with Crestman Road. It is not improved. It is a narrow rural township road. It's heavily wooded on either side. The only thing that we were asked to do by the Township Engineer's Office is to do a concept design of road improvements. And to provide an easement in case it would ever happen in the future to allow those improvements to be built. So that is shown on our record plan. It'll be part of the recorded plan. And it is a deferral that we're requesting, not a waiver.
You're dedicating appropriate right of way and then you're gonna
Plus the
provide a
easement.
grading easement on top of it.
Correct. And that is just a temporary grading easement. None of the improvements would fall outside the right of way if they were ever built.
The only exception I have to that is that the cross plates under the driveway
Correct.
should be.
We're not asking for, we'll have to appropriately handle a driveway with a crosspipe.
And those are the analyzed that building permit,
Correct.
grading plan.
There is a subdivision ordinance which regulates flag lots and says that no lots should be greater than a 2.5 to 1 depth to width ratio. We're asking for relief of that. These are a little bit longer than 2.5 to 1 as compared to their width. And generally that's so we can keep the improvements more toward the front of the lots. If we went with the 2.5 to 1 ratio, the flag lots would be pushed back. It would only push the homes more into the woodland and would disturb more land. So it didn't seem to be an appropriate or a reason to do that.
So
at this point.
basically what you would end up having to do is make the existing lot 1 deeper,
Correct.
but you would still be in compliance. You can still net 3 lots area wise in
Yeah.
compliance with that. So
Absolutely.
the waiver doesn't get you additional lots.
Does not. Just puts the homes where they're, I think, better suited for the property. And then we're asking for a waiver to incorporate whatever trees remain along the street frontage to be counted as street trees. We're not asking to reduce the number of required trees, we're just asking to count the trees that remain as are meeting our street tree requirement. I think there's a total of 11 trees that are required. We will have to plant some additional trees to get to that total, and we'll document what's left over after we're cleared for site distance. We have to remove some trees that are very close to the road for site distance, but there's other trees behind that we'll preserve. So
Michelle, did you indicate some concerns with site distances with those trees? But that's definitely.
Not site distances with those trees, but in regard to that waiver request, just to note that they are removing the trees, as Rick said. We want to make sure that they are shade trees that remain get counted towards the street tree requirement, and not evergreen trees.
that's it. Any questions?
Questions from the board? That makes sense.
All right. Will this, maybe this question should be directed at, but it's your reorganization meeting next month. Will this also be potentially considered for approval at that meeting?
Typically, no. If we want to make an exception,
We're not in, I guess that's the question. We're not gonna do any business.
we typically don't, but.
We
something
have
like this-
sometimes, I mean, is that what we wouldn't have any real business done until February.
I'm fine with that.
I don't have, I mean.
That's your
certainly the
request.
client, I don't
That's what I'm
know.
hearing.
It's our request if it's possible to do it. I think it's just a matter of the resolution. Okay,
Sounds good.
thank you.
My only concern with that is just the difference of, the date, and that you typically don't. That is some
We
consideration.
just, I mean, historically, we just haven't taken business into that meeting because we reorg.
Some years we have, some we haven't.
Yeah, it just depends.
Yeah.
And something like this, it's fairly straightforward. I don't see a problem. But controversial. At least I don't see it as controversial. All right, very good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving right along, resolution 2023-34, approving the intermunicipal agreement between Lower Salford Township, Limerick Township, and Harleysville Area Emergency Medical Services.
Doing business as Freedom Valley.
Yeah, right, Freedom Valley Medical Rescue. Any questions or comments regarding that resolution?
I think just for the record, this intermunicipal agreement is a follow-up to the conversation of the supplemental appropriation we made in the earlier action, which is to, as both Limerick Township and Lower Salford Township have made significantly larger contributions to maintain Freedom Valley Medical Rescue, Harleysville EMS. We wanted to secure our position, so to speak. So this intermunicipal agreement would provide for a distribution of assets from Freedom Valley to Limerick and Lower Salford Township on a percentage basis. Should they cease to operate, should they no longer continue to be able to provide medical services, so that we would be able to basically have the starting point of providing EMS services between our two municipalities. Other result will be within the year, we will be working through an additional intermunicipal agreement with Limerick Township to look at what the form and function of that entity would be if we had to move forward as the two municipalities driving the ship, if you will, for EMS. The goal is to make sure Freedom Valley is successful, so we don't have to do that, but we want to secure our position, and they've been willing to do so. So with that explanation, I would make a motion to approve resolution 2023-34.
Further explanation that we hope to get some support from the state on this subject and also our federal government to take care of the crisis.
And this is also online for anybody who would like to look at that as well. There are additional documents.
I'll second.
Moved in second, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. And finally, item C, motion to approve the settlement/easement documents for the Burgess Mill Road Bridge replacement. These are documents for I guess the trail installation.
No, these are for the construction easement and a slope easement, which are necessary for the construction of the bridge. The trail is being added as part of the project. At the request of the township, the county has all the information from the township traffic engineer who put together the plan, or putting together the plans and the estimates for the project, which are somewhere in the neighborhood of about $20,000 for what the county will do for the trail installation. The settlement agreement is for $9,200, which we will not receive because the trail is being installed.
All right, any comments, questions, discussion?
Project a long time coming.
Amen.
I'll make a motion to approve the settlement and easement documents as presented.
Second.
Moved in seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Say nay. No. Motion carries unanimously. Oh. Moving on to our second discussion period of the evening, where we open the floor for anyone wishing to be recognized.
Just I had one comment about the road improvement project, the trail, I guess, sidewalk that goes down Main Street from the Gulf Station.
Yes.
What was that project called? What they're calling that? Called the Main Street Road.
Yeah.
We just got a request about moving we have to actually move the force main for several hundred feet down that road. Yeah, in order to put the storm line in. And this is the first I was hearing about it at our meeting this morning. And
The sewer.
authority. No, that's been discussed with Craig and Connie in the past, that this would be part of it. Oh, okay. The township will pay for that portion, okay, as part of our the portion that we pay, the 20% match. Okay. So of what, of the total cost? Of the total cost of the project. Okay.
Yeah, so the sewer authority is not paying for the relocation.
Okay, because they were under the impression that
We
If
gotta
you would
request
like
for them
to.
start the
Yeah.
engineering.
Yeah.
We need
No,
more
it's-
building You guys got more nickels. Okay. Yeah, they, Craig got a request about doing engineering check.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, please, thank you." We didn't know.
Well,
that's what
it was, he thought it appropriate that the authority do the engineering.
Right,
For the
right.
project.
Yeah.
That's to be paid for through.
Okay.
The engineering of the project, but we can't pay for the delay or the removal of the utilities.
Yes,
So it'd be part of the township's match.
yeah,
Towards that.
okay, very good. Okay, that'll make a lot of people happy. Short arms, deep pockets, yeah. That's how it works, Dan.
All right, any other discussion? I would wish everyone a happy, healthy, safe holiday season. This is our last evening meeting before the holiday and a prosperous new year. Do we have call for an executive session this evening,
We do not.
Mr. Chakowski? Okay, so with that, I would look for Mr. Garrity to
Move we adjourn.
like the sounds of it. Thank you, everyone, for coming out.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Good to see you.